Welcome to the rolling Kent countryside for round 2 of the Blancpain Sprint Cup. Spring weather hopefully will last all weekend here at Brands Hatch. The opening race at Misano brought action aplenty. The sun was shining at Misano as Frank Pereira took the lead at the start, resisting the challenge in turn 1 from Michael Meadows and Vincent Abril. Rob Bell was in the thick of the action in his McLaren, and the Intermarque rivalry was absolutely intense, with Christian Engelhardt's Grasser Racing Lamborghini tipped into this spin. With the Italian circuit packed with corners, action was absolutely ensured. Reigning Sprint Cup champion Enzo Ida went for this rotation, falling from 6th to 18th place, as almost all of the problems early in the race seemed to befall the Audis. Andrew Watson went on a charge in the 59 Stracker Racing McLaren, and when the pit stops began, the 90 Mercedes of Meadows and Marciello was in the hunt but had a wheel nut problem and had to pit twice. The heat was on in the fight for second place, and Stephen Kane had to work really hard to resist Dominic Baumann of the 86 Mercedes, causing nervous moments for team boss Malcolm Wilson. Pressure from Juncker Deya in the 88 Mercedes and Christoph Haas in the Sandslot Racing Audi, which gave Kane just enough breathing space to take second place. A second to fifth were covered by just 1.6 seconds. No one, though, could match the combined pace of Frank Pereira and Maxi Boone, who got their season off to a stunning start, winning by 23 seconds. Team WRT is entering a pair of Audi R8 LMSs at Brands Hatch. One, the number 17, for Robin Friens and Stuart Leonard, plus the number 3 entry of GP3 race winner Jake Dennis, who is partnered this year by Dutch racer Peter Schothorst, in a pairing that kicked off with 10th place in the opener at Misano, and they certainly weren't happy with that.
It's been, like I said, a struggle for the start of the year, but obviously we managed to score 1 point at Misano and finished top Audi car, and then obviously Monza was a struggle again, but again we finished top Audi, so we're sort of doing the best job we can at the moment, but obviously the competition is tough, but we're looking obviously at scoring double points this weekend. We know the car is going to be good. I'm sure WRT have got a good setup, so I'm just looking forward to driving tomorrow.
It has already been very much a season of highs and lows for Bentley Team M Sport. The number 8 Continental will be raced at Brands Hatch by long-time Bentley pairing Andy Soucek and Maxime Soulet, while the number 7 crew of Stephen Kane and Vincent Abril started well with second place at Misano. And this has really fired up their ambition for overall title honours across this season, 10 races in both the Sprint and the Endurance Cups.
Obviously to try and win both championships and be overall GT champion, but you know, we have to take every race as it comes here at Bentley, and you know, coming to Brands for the first time this year in 2017, our home race, my home race. I've been here for years and I love the place, so really looking forward to it and trying to, you know, get on the podium this weekend again.
Rob Bell and Andrew Watson in number 59 McLaren are part of a concerted 4-car Stracker racing attack, with Ben Barnicoat, another single-seater driver who's turned his focus GT racing to further his racing career and is now benefiting considerably from being paired with the hugely experienced Alvaro Parent in the number 58 sister car.
So far I'm really enjoying my time in Blancpain GT. Obviously we haven't had much luck with 2 incidents at Misano, and then we also got caught up in the crash at the start in Monza, so we've not had the best of luck, but we definitely had the speed, so that's the main thing as a racing driver. As long as you're fast, you're happy, but you know, looking forward to some good results coming. It's great to be driving with McLaren and Stracker Racing. It's a very good opportunity for me, and to have good teammates like Alvaro here in Brands Hatch, as well as Rob Bell and Com Ledegaard in Endurance Series. It's good for me to improve myself, and it's good benchmarks. They've proven themselves as successful drivers, and that's what I aspire to be.
GRT, Grasser Racing Team, Lamborghini Huracan racers Ezekiel Perez-Companc and Norbert Siedler will definitely be hoping for better luck after a torrid time last time out in Monza, where their misfortune was balanced by victory in the Endurance Cup round for their sister car, the number 63, which will really have boosted the confidence of its drivers, Christian Engelhardt and Mirko Bortolotti. The German and Italian pairing are coming to Brands Hatch, not hoping for victory, but actually expecting to achieve their aim.
Our goal from the very start of the season was to fight at the front. This is what we try to do every race. We do our best. We had a really good start in the Endurance Cup in Monza, and now we hope to achieve a good result also in the Sprint Cup.
Maximilian Buch and Frank Pereira set the gold standard with victory at Misano, where they won the opening round of the Sprint Cup by 23 seconds in their grey and red number 84 Mercedes. That's a huge margin in the ever-competitive Blancpain GT Series. They weren't alone in the HTP Motorsport Mercedes camp in showing great pace, and the speed of teammates Jules Simkowiak and Fabian Schiller in the Italian Opel suggests they too could get in the mix with a really top result around the twists and turns of the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit.
It's the third year in a row that I'm doing this championship, and it's so strong. It's building every single year. There are big names in the sport, and I'm actually quite proud and pleased to be in this because it's really competitive.
The ACA ASP team has shown very well from the outset of the season with its quartet of Mercedes AMGs, with the number 89 of Christophe Bourret and Jean-Philippe Belloc racing well in the Pro-Am class. However, up front it looks increasingly as though Michael Meadows has an absolute gem as his partner in the number 90, in the form of Italian GP2 star Raffaele Marciello.
It's a really difficult track to overtake because it's so high speed. I think probably turn 2 up to Druids is a good opportunity if you put some pressure on at turn 1. The hardest part of the track is definitely out the back. There's a couple of corners that are really high speed but with bumps on the exit and stuff, so if you're naive and try to be too aggressive, then you'll come unstuck, and it's when you crash at Brands, it's generally weekend over. It's not fixable, so it's important just to build up to it so you peak in qualifying in Q3 and stick it on the front row.
Row Racing proved last year that it could make the BMW M6 a winner by taking the Blancpain GT Series' blue ribbon event at the Spa 24 Hours. This year, Jesse Krohn and Marcus Paltler have shown well in the number 98 M6. And this weekend, Portuguese racer Antonio Felix da Costa joins Philippe Eng in the number 99 to see what he can do.
It's a complete new challenge with a new team for me, and also here at the Blancpain Championship and here at Brands Hatch. It's my first time in the big track, in the GP track, and I really like it because it's a little bit old school, going back to the roots. On top of that, sharing the car with Philip is really good. He's been helping me to get to grips with the M6 because I'm a little bit new to this GT3 stuff. So all in all, it's been cool, it's been fun, and now we're chasing good results as obvious, and excited.
There are 4 Ferrari crews entered for the Sprint Cup at Brands Hatch this weekend, and of these, Alexander Matschel and Daniel Kalbitz arrived looking to add to their Pro-Am class victory at Misano, 14th place overall in their Rinaldi Ferrari.
One of my goals in the Pro-Am is we go for the championship. It's a really tough championship, but we try to do it.
Welcome to Brands Hatch on a grey spring day. Quite cool, but the winds of yesterday, John Watson joining me in the commentary box, have dropped, but now we've got a packed grid, 31 cars. We had hoped for 33, but the circuit bit back yesterday. We lost 2 cars against the barriers out at Stirling's.
Yeah, we had 2 cars, Lamborghini, the Reiter Lamborghini, and then the 44 McLaren of young Lewis Hazeman, son of Tony Hazeman, Twan Hazeman.
John, let's take you down the start grid. Mirko Bortolotti, 63, Lamborghini on pole. Chris Vermees alongside for Audi. Then the mix of cars, a BMW. Jesse Krohn will start the 98 and the second Lamborghini from Grasser. Then Audi's highest place is in 5th place. Marco Bappelli's going increasingly well in that 66 Lamborghini. And Robin Freitz, with his knee injury, back on board this weekend for WRT. McLaren, the best placed car. Parent will start that in 9th position overall. Bentley way down the order. The top of the Pro-Am runners will be in 13th position. That's Jules Gounon, and that's still ahead of those 2 Works Bentleys. Haven't even got them. That's how far we're looking down the order. The top 17 went out and did their times, but they didn't get into the top half of the order. There, Stephen Kane, better placed in 19th position. Not where he came to Brands Hatch and expected to start.
No, I mean, a very surprising, disappointing performance from Bentley, 10th and 12th rows of the grid. Now, let's keep an eye on what's going to happen as they come down into clearways. The safety car will peel off. I'm assuming it's going to do it this time around. We're going to get the 2 formation laps, which has now become the form for the start of these rolling starts for the 2017 season. Gives everybody.
No, this is it. He's peeled into the pit lane. Very late peel off by the safety car. So on the left of the screen, Mirko Bortolotti. On the outside in the Audi, had already lost position there. Looks as though up from 3rd place we could have a change. Will Jesse Krohn get up? A great start by our race leader. Chris Vermees has fallen from 2nd down to 3rd. So
contact already, but the Audi has been turned around in the middle of paddock.
Christopher Haase lost out there for Sansalot Racing. Looks like he's going to get back on, but he's lost. Well, he's dropped down about 20 positions. So BMW enjoying a move up to 2nd place in the sister car 99, also getting in on the act, and Alvaro Parent pushing very hard indeed for McLaren, trying to gain some position. Down to Graham Hill Bend. This is Stephen Kane starting down in about 19th position, over the curbs and wide. In fact, the sister car as well.
He's got a puncture. The Ferrari's got a right rear puncture, so that's going to make its way back to the pits rather slowly because it's a long way bound. And again, coming through. Oh, contact with the Bentley again, coming out of Surtees. I'd hoped that we would see pretty clean start, but what we're seeing is not what we had hoped for on board with the number 7 Bentley.
Well, we've largely got away with it so far, but that was a vicious snap for Stephen Kane to contain. But from pole position, Mirko Bortolotti led away. Look how close it is, nose to tail around the back part of the circuit, going through Westfield and now down into Dingledale. Stephen Kane, we're glad we got the camera on board his car. But out front, there is the number 7 Bentley. He's got position to gain, and not an easy circuit on which to do so. You've got to get a good exit from Stirlings and try and carry that speed all the way down. Start, finish straight, paddock, and then up to Druids, and maybe you can make that move stick. But out front, it's Mirko Bortolotti, and a very good start indeed for Jesse Crow to get into second position. The first 2 cars already starting to drop. Christopher Mees, it's much closer further down in the pack. Norbert Siedler coming through in 4th place. Danny Juncadella in 5th, and Marco Mappelli going very well indeed in 6th. And Stephen Kane, we saw him have that little twitchy moment. 88, that's Juncadella in 5th place. Lost position there to Marco Mappelli at Paddock Hill Bend on the second time around. I said get a good exit from Stirling, you can carry that speed. What of the Audi? The Audi has just missed a gear or something. Something's broken a puncture. Well spotted, John. Very slow through Graham Hill Bend, and suddenly we saw Norbert Siedler going up into 3rd position. So it's Lamborghini's 1st and 3rd, and then now up to 4th place overall is the Grasser Lamborghini.
Yes.
It's the Marco Mappelli Lamborghini. So it's going to be a very long lap of limping home, unfortunately, for the number 1 Audi.
And Vincent Abril looking, tension on his face, wondering what Stephen Kane is able to do. Kane all the way down, still in 17th place.
Yeah, in the thick of the battle, but trying to make a move. He's lining up the car in front of him, but he's up to 16th now with the number 1 Audi limping its way back. Oh yes, bodywork damage on the back of the Bentley. That is Abril's car that's had the tap. It got very close, remember, going out of Surtees on the opening lap when someone ran wide and they were 3 abreast, and that's when the tap came. Bodywork's slightly rubbing there. I think I saw a bit of smoke. Stephen Kane working hard through Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, running behind Philippe Salaquado. There is the Audi into the pits, and he's managed to get it back.
Yeah, well, here's a look at the replay of the start. Hit the curb on the inside. The Sansalot Racing Christopher Haase Audi was incredibly lucky not to be struck as he spun across the pack. Look how close he was to one of the ASP Mercedes. That was Daniel Juncadella who avoided him, and then he came back on. Now, how much gravel did he leave on the track? Maybe that might have caused the puncture.
Could have been us on board. Up into the Mercedes, up hanging high into clearways, giving loads of room there. You can see the Audi rotating round. He did very well to get that out of that gravel trap. On board with Philippe Eng as they go into Stirlings. The Mercedes you can see directly ahead. There is the Mercedes ahead. Danny Juncadella. He had that massive moment and magnificent save, but into clearways you've got so little time around Brands Hatch. All these circuits, they blend into one another, and even what we call the pit straight is a very, very shallow curve from the exit of clearways all the way up onto the top of Paddock Hill Bend.
Well, just having a look through the replayed box. Now very, very close between the number 7 Bentley and Philippe Salacado right in front of him. Going up to Druids, trying left, trying right, trying left again.
Bentley, big shunt from the 7 Bentley, or is that a tire blew out as a consequence, or is it a spin? I'm getting very excited.
It was already tattered.
Yes, I wonder is he maybe the left rear tire, has it finally been cut down? It looks like it has been, it is. So as the consequence of the bodywork flapping around, is that a sort of a self-induced incident, or did he spin and then that was a sort of the outcome?
You know, John,
the
pit window is now open. I bet the team was hoping that it could have been 30 seconds earlier and he could have arrived into the pit. Let's have a look at the replay.
Well, the tire's
gone down.
The tire had gone before he was fully through the corner.
So Stephen Kane coming down the hill would have felt it go. Did very well to actually get it and not in the gravel and get it off the circuit.
And
on
what we were
side.
seeing was a little bit of waste fuel in the exhaust pipe just igniting. It wasn't anything more than that. So pit window is now open. And we're still waiting to see if anybody's prepared to come in at the top 3. Nobody in this, certainly not at the end of lap 18.
No, they keep going. Tyres, fresh batches of Pirellis.
There we go.
Prepared up and down the pit lane. So this is the car that was coming in from 6th place. Philippe Eng, the first of the pitters. Franck Pereira has brought his Mercedes in. He has to go the whole way down towards pit exit. The HTP Motorsport crew, and limping back with less and less rubber is poor old Stephen Kane. Very unfortunate. That tyre eventually gave go. The body had been rubbing on it for some while.
There's the 84. That looks like a pretty good stop to me from the HTP team. That's what they're going to give them track position, and they're ahead of the BMW.
Ahead of the BMW. So bear in mind, the BMW was 6th, and before the pit stops, the Mercedes was 9th.
And Key also, I think, the number 1 Audi was just coming up, which had already been in at the end of the first lap. There's Stephen Kane limping back to the pits to get the Bentley, not only a driver change, but all 4 wheels and tyres.
What a shame for them that the pit stop window couldn't have opened a minute earlier. Then they could have brought that in, because clearly the bodywork had been rubbing for some while on the rear wheel of that Bentley, and it just let go as he entered Paddock Hill Bend last time around. As you can see, the bodywork was already tattered. It's far more tattered now. There's not a scintilla of rubber around there anymore. It's just wheel rim.
I mean, that's a pretty severe bit of bodywork damage. A late cut into the pit lane for the McLaren. What the lead teams, the Lamborghini and the BMW, have to be aware of is when they choose to make the pit stop, those that have done it earlier, are they going to be that little bit quicker at this phase of the race? Is that going to be a negative fault, or will they just be able to maintain the balance of the advantage that they have? 6 seconds between first and second, but 10 seconds between first and third.
This is the number 8 Bentley that was running second of the Bentleys. Maxime Soulet brought it in, handing over to Andy Soucek, but to get to the top 10 at this point in the race,
it's getting wrapped up on the
air hose there.
The air hose, indeed.
So perilous times in the pits for several drivers, but looks like a nice tidy pit stop. Alvaro Perrette handing over to Ben Barnicoat, the 58 McLaren. Mirko Bortolotti started on pole, has not been headed in this race, sitting on an advantage of 6 seconds. Will he come in this time around?
He is.
Yes, he is. There we are, beautifully caught there. Into the pit lane he comes. And now Will Philippe, Jesse Krohn has not pitted. He's gone on pass. So Jesse Krohn now leads this race for BMW, the 98 BMW in the lead. There's Christian Engelhardt standing in pit position, waiting for Mirko Bortolotti to get out of the car. Let's see how dignified this exit is. He's got a fair bit of cage to get out and around and through. Does that very tidily, and the taller Engelhardt hops on board now.
And what the Grasser Racing team are doing the right-hand side first of all to allow the driver change to continue unimpeded, and that's the detail.
Sense.
That's the detail. Rather than tripping over drivers falling out of cars, try and do the right-hand side first.
Yeah, and of course, for then the garage is on the opposite side of the car at Misano in the opening round. The car's a bit lighter now, having left the majority of its Pirelli fresh rubber on the circuit. So Christian Engelhardt coming back out just behind Jules Simkoviak, Fabian Schiller, the 85 HTP Motorsport car that had to start at the back of the order. So in comes the car from a temporary lead of the race, the car that was running second before Mirko Bortolotti brought the 63 Lamborghini in from the lead of the race. But let's hope it's a tidy pit stop. Jesse Krohn will be handing over to fellow Finn Marcus Paltela. There is Marcus pulling up alongside. This looks a far easier car to get out of than the McLaren. That's for sure.
Yes, it's a normal GT car, whereas the mid-engine cars are a lot more difficult. They've got a very high sill, but again the same issue of doing the left side when the driver change is taking place.
So 63 clouting the curb at Sheep Curve, but down on the ground is a car that was chasing it. Looked tidy.
Because the Lamborghini is only coming into clearways now, it's going to be a close call. Can the BMW is near the end of the pit? There it is. It's making its way down the pit lane. In fact, it's going to be almost side by side as they come up into Paddock Hill Bend. The BMW, no, the Lamborghini just sneaks through, but the gap has been reduced. BMW seem to have done maybe marginally the quicker pit stop.
Yeah, I'd say they gained about 3 seconds in that pit stop. Didn't put them into the lead of the race, but certainly put the frighteners on the GRT Grasser Racing team.
What's this? We've got a mechanic getting out of the passenger seat.
He didn't understand the term. He thought they still had riding mechanics, John.
But I think there was an issue.
Yeah.
You have a lot of resets on board the car, and sometimes the pressure is overwhelming and you don't quite get all the resets, or maybe some of the things that connect to the radio and the other items that are in the cockpit of these cars.
Well, I'm glad they noticed before they got to Druids with the mechanics still on board. But joking aside, looks like Robin Freets handing over to Stuart Leonard has gained position and was tussling with the McLaren, but the McLaren was ahead as far as I recall before the pit stops, but very, very close between the two of them, and already looking very feisty, trying to dive up the inside into Surtees, not quite pulling it off. Ben Barnicoat back in 8th place, and now Stuart Leonard in 7th in the yellow-nosed Audi. Down Pilgrim's Drop, under the Blancpain Bridge, into the bottom of Hawthorne Hill, up to Hawthorne, but leading the way at the front of the race is still the 63 Lamborghini, now in the hands of Christian Engelhardt.
That car got missing in the gravel.
Well, that's another car nearly missing. 26. That's the second incident at the same corner. Had it on the opening lap in the hands of Christopher Haase, and now Romain Monti has experienced far more of the gravel.
Amazingly, he's able to drive out of it. So Big spin. Probably just lost the back of the car. Let's have a look and see. Oh, there's maybe is this.
Did he get too close to the Kessel Racing Ferrari in front of him? No, looks so it's all his own work.
Oh, there's contact. That's why. Wow, just driven into the back of the 26 Audi.
Well, that was Gustavo Yacaman in the orange Lamborghini, Orange One Team Lazarus Lamborghini, that gave more than a helping hand. 26 is being pushed away after that moment in the gravel, and the car that puts him there drives through penalty, and it's not Gustavo Yacaman. He just handed over to Fabrizio Crestani. So for the Orange One Team Lazarus Lamborghini, well, that is any chance of any points. Well, they were down in 24th position going west. Look how close it is in the middle of the order. Oh,
contact!
Christophe Boré contact with the Bentley.
That was up. You could see that was something about to happen. There was 4 cars all moving around. The 89 Mercedes-Benz was the one that was
look, a car with it sideways across the track. Someone went to the left and ran out of space.
Which Audi is that? The number 1
the
Audi?
The red one is the number 1 Audi. I think that black up the top of that. I think that could be the number 3 Audi off at turn 1. But suddenly found that 89 sitting there. Are we going to have a safety car?
Oh yes,
you have to presume it's definitely a safety car. The waved yellow
the
flags.
number 5 Audi, so that was the car that had to take the long way around. Marcel Fassler behind the wheel. Yeah, let's watch and see. There's the Mercedes. You got the Audi behind. Look, watch the Bentley.
By 1.
It's the Bentley making the move up, and then the contact comes, and it's just as if the two of them get locked together. And all of a sudden, the Mercedes is banging across the track into the barriers, then back over the racetrack and comes to a standstill.
It was almost magnetic. The ISR Audi went past.
Almost in a way, the Bentley found itself in a position where it had nowhere to go.
Yeah, almost got sucked in, and that was.
Except put your brakes on.
Yeah.
Well, the Mercedes may have
Do you think he panics a bit because he was a lap down?
What I'm trying to get to, there you see, look at the number 5 Audi, absolutely committed and didn't slow down at all. Lucky to get away with that.
That was a great bit of driving. You can't get much closer to the entire barrier. It's got a bit of bodywork damage at the back.
He's torn off the rear part of the bodywork.
Lamborghini leading the way, BMW second, Lamborghini third, and already Christian Engelhardt has dropped it as they went under the Pirelli bridge, sweeping down into the stadium section through clearways, through Clark Curve, onto the start-finish straight, and he's already got a lead of about 1.5 seconds by the time they get to the start line. Let's just show 0.8 of a second. My eyes are clearly going completely bonkers. Any changes behind?
Having a look.
That was the chance. This is the move to try and get into 6th place to take the final point, but the McLaren driver couldn't quite pull it off on the approach to Paddock Hill Bend. Everyone else behaving very well indeed behind. So the number 8 Bentley might be gaining a position. Of course, that was the one that was involved in the incident down into Paddock Hill Bend. Oh, 84 has come into, that is 84, isn't it? It's come into the pit lane, and that was in 4th position before. So another puncher in this race. It affected the number 1 car early in the race, and now the 84, just as it had worked its way up towards the tail end, it was in those points.
Well, every time you see contact between cars, mostly the carbon fibre parts just go into tiny little shards. They lie on the racetrack. If you're unfortunate enough to run across them, they will cut a car. But I tell you what, Ben Barnicott absolutely determined to find a way past the number 17 Audi, Stuart Leonard behind the wheel. And a good run in this part of the qualifying race for the young McLaren driver. Wave, yellow flag.
No, we've got a car in the gravel at Clearways. Just need to pick it up. So well picked up on the flags there. John can't tell you who. Oh, it's car number 11 has spun into the gravel at 9. That's the Kessel Racing Ferrari. Giacomo Puccini handed it over to Michel Bronicheski. So last year's Pro-Am champion. Big surprise. When is this move going to come from Barnicott? He's putting so much pressure in the McLaren on the number 17 Audi ahead of him. But Stuart Leonard has the answer, so they go down into Paddock Hill Bend. So unfortunate late race incident there, but it does hamper any driver trying to make a move. Not that the move comes at Clearways into Clark Curve where the car is in the gravel, that number 11 Kessel Racing Ferrari, but it still slightly hampers those who are giving chase, trying to make a move. Most notably Felix Sarayes, who is running as the field seems to really be bunching up in that run from 3rd place. Ezekiel Perez Compact back down through the order. Just at this late stage in the race, I want to point out the Kessel Racing Ferrari is leading Pro-Am in 16th place overall, so the great work done by Jules Gounon has not been built on by his teammate, unfortunately. Handed over to Jean-Luc Bobelic. That's still second in the class, but several positions behind now, so advantage in Pro-Am to Kessel Racing. But just the tail end of the top 10 is nose-to-tail stuff.
Yeah, the gap between first and second are comfortable at this point. With just over 5 minutes remaining, 2 seconds. Marcus Palzel has sort of kind of checked the advantage the lead Lamborghini was having, and then the gap between second and third, well, it's just under 2 seconds, and then 3rd to 4th, 0.3. You can see how close.
Certainly is, and there's a message on screen telling us the clearways into Clark Curve will be waved yellow flags until the remainder of the race as Barnicott takes. He got almost close enough to make the move stick into Paddy Hill bed. Stuart Leonard very, very loose through the corner as a consequence of trying to resist that attack. And behind him, Michael Meadows is going, go on, help each other off. I need to get up to that final point scoring position in the number 90 Mercedes.
Well, that's what Michael Meadows is going to be hoping for. He can see the heat of this battle between the Audi and the McLaren may well be something that could give him the advantage with under 5 minutes to go. McLaren again, clearly the quicker of the two cars, but just finding the way through is going to be the difficulty. Close coming now out of Surtees. McLaren appears to have reasonably good straight line speed. Can he close? Can he get up alongside? But he's too far back.
Very, very frustrating indeed for Ben Barnicott. He has tried at pretty much every single corner around the lap of the circuit. Don't forget, waved yellow flags as Clearways turns into Clark Curve, the combined final corner of the lap. Watching on, seeing if his driver can advance, is Baz Linders, who runs all the McLarens under the Stracker Racing over flag, if you will, but 58 is running out of time. 4 minutes remaining until the end of this 1 hour race. The main race, also 1 hour in duration, starts at 4:15 this afternoon. But of course, it's all about picking up points where you possibly can, and that McLaren number 58 is not set for points unless it can pass the number 17 Audi ahead of it, almost alongside as they go over the start-finish line, trying the outside line. It won't manage to do it that way. Can he duck up the inside of the Audi? The Audi goes a little bit wide, up comes the nose of the McLaren. Is it up the inside, side by side? Is the move going to work for Ben Barnicott? You have to say that was a fantastic manoeuvre. Can he break it enough for Druids? Well done for the young Brit, and certainly Baz Linders enjoyed the double thumb raise from Baz. He worked on that for lap after lap. Now, if you pick up a stop and go penalty, that has been awarded to number 8 for presumably its contact with the 89 Mercedes that we saw go clattering down the barriers outside the point scoring positions. The Audis are scrapping among themselves, the WRT entries and the ISRs having a real go around the Grand Prix circuit, watched by number 42 McLaren. That's David Fuminelli getting tucked in that battle as well, and he's got right behind him, he's got Andy Soucek. But that number 8 Bentley, of course, has a 40-second penalty. But the car that's easiest to predict the position it's in has been there since the start of the race. Started by Mirko Bortolotti, the number 63 Lamborghini, Christian Engelhardt, through off the Grand Prix loop for the final time, being given chase by Marcus Paltler. Nothing he can do though, because there's Christian Engelhardt sweeping through that final lovely twist onto the start-finish straight. The flags are waving and the checkered flag is taken. Victory, will it be by 3 seconds? It matters not. He's bagged the 8 points for victory. Marcus Paltler, second for BMW. Ezekiel Perez-Compay, third for Lamborghini. Fourth, Felix Sarraez. Fifth, Antonio Felix da Costa, and Ben Barnicott worked so hard to get that final point in 6th place.
Mirko Bortolotti, you did all the good yards yesterday. You got that pole position. You dominated qualifying. You've dominated the qualifying race.
Yes, we did. Really happy. I mean, it's a perfect weekend so far for us. Outstanding pole yesterday with a perfect lap, and really good pace in the race as well. Managed to have a good start at the beginning, and then behind they were fighting a little bit, so I could open up a little gap. The car was really good, and the team did a massive job. We had a really good pit stop as well, so we managed to get Christian back out in P1. And at the end it was getting close again with the safety car. Was a bit worried, but I knew that he had it under control and he could win it, so really happy. Perfect position to start the main race.
Good job, Mirko. Well, Christian, you were behind the wheel when the safety car came out. Had you any concerns about the advantage you had just all evaporating?
Yeah, first of all, I'm really happy for the whole team. 2 cars on the podium for Grasser Racing is amazing. The race itself, in the safety car, of course, I was worried because all the margin you have is gone. But then after the restart, I think I made a really good restart, had the gap already at the line, and then could control it to the end. Really happy.
Let's take a look at the results. We know the winning car was a 63 Lamborghini, 3.75 seconds. Of course, the safety car had a role to play in that. Its margin over the Paltler Krone BMW crew, then Ezekiel Perez-Compay, Norbert Siedler, third for Lamborghini. The best of the Mercedes down in 4th place. Felix Sarraez pushed so hard at the end of the race. Second, BMW in 5th. Ben Barnicott, the best of the McLarens, in 6th. Now the biggest trophies for the qualifying races to Christian Engelhardt, and now to Mirko Bortolotti. No wonder they're smiling. They're starting the next race also from pole position. The car looks good. They're starting from the best position. First part of the job is done. 8 points in the bag. Cars looking brighter, colours looking more colourful. The sun is starting to shine at last over Brands Hatch. We had the qualifying race this morning, 1 hour of race action, a packed grid of cars, 31 will be coming out to play. Hard to pick them out with so many people down. Taking a look, the VIPs on the grid, the team personnel. Weather conditions much warmer. Track temperature up about 6 degrees to 19.4 degrees, and humidity dropping away. It was 70% for the first race, it's now 52. So let's take a look at the starting grid as the cars go round. It's the 63 Lamborghini on pole position, the 98 BMW alongside the sister Lamborghini, number 19 on row 2, along with Felix Sarayas in the 88 ACA Mercedes. Antonio Felix da Costa, the second of the BMWs, will start 5th, and Ben Barnicoat, the best McLaren, in 6th place. The best Audi will be started by Stuart Leonard, that's number 17, alongside Michael Meadows. Coming down, the safety car has the lights off. They know it's going to peel into the pit lane if all is clear. It's very late to peel into the pit lane first time around. So Christian Engelhardt in the Lamborghini on the left-hand side of your screen, on the right-hand side of the circuit from the driver's point of view. On the outside of the front row is Marcus Paltela, all eyes looking as the safety car pulls off to see how many Lamborghinis will be at the front of the race, or will it be around the outside into Paddock Hill Bend. Such a tricky first corner. It looks like it's going to be Lamborghinis 1 and 2. Marcus Paltela almost caught napping. He might not even be the predominant BMW. The teammate Antonio Felix da Costa has made it BMWs 3 and 4, but poleman Christian Engelhardt gets away. Argentinian racer Ezequiel Perez, compact, not a lot of experience, but did a great job away from the rolling starts. And now we're seeing a really feisty beginning from Felix Sarayas. He's got his Mercedes up into 4th place overall. Pushed one of the BMWs back. The McLaren tucked in underneath. Ben Barnicoat so strong at the end of the previous race. And the blue-nosed Audi are running off the circuit. That's not the dream way to go racing. That's the number 3 entry. Peter Schothorst will hand that over later to Jake Dennis.
Yes, so we're saying that both the McLaren and the 88 Mercedes have made a little bit of progress. Always a bit of a reshuffle from start grid up into turn 1, then up into Druids, then all the way back out into the Grand Prix loop. But a comfortable start from the 63 Lamborghini, no trouble at all. But actually the pace of the BMW, the Mercedes following, that's the second place Lamborghini, I beg your pardon. So we're watching much up the inside, trying to squeeze by the BMW. The Mercedes has got more natural pace. Daniel Juncadella told us on the grid, they just need to get through.
Yeah, he very much enjoyed it when you pointed out that his was the best place of all the Mercedes. A car off into the gravel at the midway point of the gravel trap at Stirling's. Can't tell you which it is as yet. Number 75, it's not Philip Salicada, it's his teammate who'll be starting that.
Clement Schmidt. 84 trying to make sure that Bentley doesn't slide up the inside into clearways. So there's this sorting out, this reshuffling that you have coming in these early laps down again through Paddock Hill Bend. The big drop, the compression at the bottom.
This is the top 6. Barnicoat, he loved it in the first race, having a little look at Antonio da Costa.
I don't know why Alvaro said the car wasn't particularly quick and straight. I've seen Barnicoat when he was in his stint in the opening race this morning, looking very, very strong at this part of circuit. But now, down through Dingle-Dell, up the crest, over Sheen Curve. So, yellow flag being waved, waiting to see where the car is. There it is, there's the Audi on the exit of Stirling, so everybody has to slow down. Then, once you get the green flag, you can be back on it. So we're going to have a safety car intervention because the 75 Audi up at Stirling's Bend is in a position that to remove it safely, the best way is to bring the entire field under the control of the safety car.
So here we go back to a replay of the start. Very good if you're in a Lamborghini, not so very good if you were Marcus Paltela in the BMW, the outside of the front row. He fell back to 3rd position as his teammate came through, Antonio Felix da Costa, into 4th, but very, very strong run, very bold around the outside goes the number 88, Felix Sarayas. Mercedes kept his footed over the curbing at the foot of Paddock Hill Bend and then was on the outside line, but carrying a bit more speed up the hill to Druids. Now, of course, the Lamborghinis drop back so they can dictate the pace.
But watch the 88 Mercedes, Felix Sarayas. He is going to be the man I want to see because he's going to take a little punt if he's close enough to the BMW as they come through clearways. Can he build the momentum? He's not close enough right now.
2 cars further back. Ben Barnicoat's going to have a little look as well. He's dropped Stuart Leonard, getting very close to 5th place. Felix Antonio da Costa, BMW, but it is all running as per the order before. And again, Christian Engelhardt has already started to open out a gap over his teammate. Jesse Krohn watching in the pit lane, his car.
Oh, he's through, he slipped through. Well done. Felix Sarayas managed to dive down the inside. He's now got to go uber defensive to try and stop the BMW coming back. And again, it's the sister BMW now almost coming into contact. with its 899 car. So the two BMWs side by side as they make their way down Pilgrim's Drop. Ben Barnacle, he's got a tow rope on the back of one of the BMWs. He's going to get that position. The BMW on the outside, the 99 car, is going to be hung out to
the
dry.
McLaren, it must be going out the inside. Didn't quite make it, but I bet if you had the camera on the face of Jesse Crone for 2 seconds longer, it would have changed his expression, because his car had been running with Marcus Paltler in third place, and now it's down. And certainly our fighter from the first two rounds, Felix Arias, up to third place.
And not only up to third place, look how much he's pulled since he got past the BMW.
Shows how much Compank is backing up the field. You can see one abreast isn't enough, or one nose to tail. They're trying to be two abreast behind. It's getting this incredible colour, this ribbon.
We've virtually got the top 20 covered by about by 6 or 7
Just
seconds.
had a place change. The McLaren Barnicot has pushed or has gone up the inside of Antonio Felix da Costa, who may lose a couple more positions. So suddenly fifth has turned to seventh, or maybe even eighth. But for the McLaren driver, Barnicot is up to fifth.
He has looked very, very competitive all this weekend, particularly in the first race this morning, now in the second race. And of course there's been a reshuffle, so Michael Meadows is getting dumped a little bit as he comes down Pilgrim's Drop, trying to get himself back into track position so he can once again go on the attack. Side by side, nice
bit of body work.
Is that some Kubiak?
No, that's the Baumann Ericsson.
Okay, side by side. The inside line you're going to have to concede if you're on the outside going into Hawthorns, because they've got all the options. You've got very few.
Yeah, this is Michael Meadows. He's hunting down, giving a little bit of a tap to the 42 McLaren, and that is where the order changed. So Meadows up to 9th place overall. Ben Barnicot making a move up the inside. Side by side, panel to panel. Can he complete the move up the inside of Palter for 4th place as they go into Surtees? Yes, he can on the way in. Will he on the way out? No, the BMW's kept his foot in, so the Finnish driver, that was brave, John.
It was, I mean, a courageous move down the inside. Now side by side once again, but the McLaren on the outside pulling marginally ahead, getting its nose, but the BMW braked a little bit later. Ben Barnicot they just thought the better of it. He knew that if he tried to force the issue, it would mean damage or potentially worse for one or both of the cars. There's the Lamborghini, the second place Lamborghini coming in.
He's done his job.
He's coming into the earliest opportunity. He has literally kept the entire field well away from the race-leading 63 Lamborghini.
I'll be really intrigued, John, to see the next lap time from Felix Arias. He's now been released in second place for ACA ASP in the 88 Mercedes.
It'll be somewhere in the 125s without doubt. But and the pit lane's suddenly getting quite busy.
So Norbert Siedler is taking over from Ezekiel Perez Compact, the number 19 Lamborghini. Great job from the young Argentinian.
So the BMW off the jacks. Can they get out before the Lamborghini? The BMW is rolling.
They are going to. Stuart Leonard has handed over to his teammate, number 17. That's Robin Friends.
So they've got ahead of the BMW. Where did the Lamborghini?
It's still at a standstill, so all those laps of gaining,
there it is,
half the field has come past him. The lights are flashing, it's just not getting going.
They just can't get the thing to fire up. They've got a problem, they can't get it to fire up.
Cars that were down towards the tail end of the top 20 are going past him now. Oh, how cruel. So Norbert Siedler, he'll be fuming.
I think they're going to take it, they're going to put it into the garage. Something has happened. Now, whether that's a starter jammed or something, the other Bentley's rolling.
We've almost had a collision in the pit lane, a BMW number 99 and the 88 Mercedes.
And all of them going very slowly indeed.
I think there was bodily contact.
Well, the BMW's pulled off. It's pulled off by the side of the track. There we see it.
Well, they don't have to hurry this pit stop. A nice empty pit lane, a very sizable lead. 25 seconds it's listed as that.
Look how quick Bortolotti got into the car.
He was fired as if from a cannon there, John.
He was in there. I mean, this is a slick operation. Now, doing the seatbelts up, sometimes you want assistance from your co-driver, sometimes you can manage it yourself. In some cars, they've got a seat that's fixed and they use inserts. Others have got a slidable seat. Mirko Bortolotti gets the Lamborghini 63 rolling. Luckily, they are at the end of the pit lane, so they pretty much on it immediately.
Now, let's take a look. We had this problem in the pit lane. We're looking for the BMW. Wheeling the way.
There we are. An errant tyre forced the 88 BMW
to swerve.
And then the BMW comes back and hits the side of the Mercedes and then dives in front of it. And that is a temper moment.
Certainly is. You can already see the tyre starting to come off as Philippe Eng tries to pull away. You can't really blame the driver of the Mercedes there. With that wheel bouncing around, he had to take evasive action.
But he reacted. So this group of cars from 3rd all the way down to 8th position. There's no room between them. 84 looks to move up the inside on the number 98 BMW, but too far behind, so you just got to get out of it. You got to be patient.
Right, you know the bouncing wheel in the pit lane.
I certainly
Unfortunately,
do.
unsafe release. That's the judgment on the 88 Mercedes. We think he was avoiding the pit lane. He's down in 11th place at the moment, Daniel Juncadella. But don't forget that he was driven so hard by Felix Serrades in third place, challenging for second. He's now looking at a bit of bodywork damage as the 88 car. That was side on, don't forget,
Yes.
with the
that was the
BMW.
BM
So it cost the two of them. The 99
Yeah.
BMW park at pit exit. Bodywork damage to number 88, out of the race for Daniel Juncadella. This level advantage, 20 plus seconds. We saw the equivalent of that almost identically. It was 23 seconds at the end of the race, of the main race in the opening meeting at Misano, but the victory then went to the 84 Mercedes crew of Franck Pereira and Maxi Buch, and the smiles are already starting to come on the face of Christian Engelhardt. Really good opening stint. Mirko Bortolotti now at the wheel of the car. You can still see that concentration, 20 seconds clear of the opposition.
The 8 Bentley is in trouble. It's going slowly. Either it's coming
it's just
into
leaving the pits now.
Okay, so it's making its way back out.
Drive-through penalty for pit lane infringement.
So it's
There we
making its
are.
way
We
back.
have an answer to the question we didn't know we
The
were
sister
asking.
car up to 13th place.
Car in third place now starts its 40th lap. That's Will Stevens in the number 2 Audi in third place. Right on his tail, he's got Fabian Schiller in the 85 Mercedes. That's been a remarkable performance. They started the first of today's 2 races at the very back of the grid, 31st position overall. They must have been mighty in the pits, and certainly in that midfield gaggle they managed to pick places up. BMW will come home in 5th, or will they, because of a real challenge going on, and now Jesse Krohn is being pushed very hard indeed by Dries van Tor, but Dries has been close. Big lock up there from the two of them as they went down into Surtees. Dropping into clearways comes our race winner. Victory in race 1 with partner Christian Engelhardt. Engelhardt led away this time around, did the first stint of the race, handed over to Mirko Bortolotti, the Italian, coming home the next couple of seconds, backing off completely. The checkered flag is waved. Great cheering at the front of the GRT Grasser racing car, but not as loud as the cheering in the cockpit, because there is the new championship leading car, 63. Coming through to second place, Robin Frieds took over from Stuart Leonard, worked their way forward from 7th on the grid up to 2nd. That was a very strong drive for the 17 crew. And then it's going to be 5 cars almost nose to tail coming through in the run for 3rd place, heading for victory in 4th place overall, and victory in the Silver Cup goes to Fabian Schiller. That 42 McLaren will be just outside the top 10 with Williamson. They'll be 2nd in the Silver Cup, almost as quick as the winner. It's John Watson who's come down from the commentary box, and he's caught up with the winners.
Christian Engelhardt, outstanding opening stint, almost obscenely good.
Yeah, it was great. The car was amazing all the weekend. Team did a really great job preparing the car, and we didn't have to change a lot since we came here. And the race was after a really good start I had. It was really good, pushing every lap, pulling a gap. My teammate behind, having all the pack behind, which surely helped pulling the gap. And of course, we tried to push as hard to make a big gap for the pit stop, because you never know what happens in the pit stop. Yeah, Mirko brought it home. Awesome weekend for all of us.
Well, Mirko, we were watching the onboard shot. One thing I noticed about you when you're driving, you never blink.
Really?
Never.
Okay. It's good to know.
So it was an easy run for you.
Well, easy. It's never easy, obviously, but easier than it was sometimes. But that's because of the situation that was created in the race. Because every race has its own story. If you look at this race, Christian managed to pull away at the beginning. We had Ezequiel behind doing a great job, but fighting a bit with the rest of the pack. That gave us a big chance to open up a gap. And obviously when I got in the car in the second stint, I had a big margin. So it was easier than usual, I would say, yes.
Well, outstanding from both of you.
So let's take a look at the final results. Victory, it was never in doubt, was it? 63 Lamborghini, Mirko Bortolotti finished the job, started by Christian Engelhardt. Stuart Leonard and Robin Frieds so strong to move up to 2nd place, but 11th at the start of this race to 3rd. Will Stevens and Marcus Winkelholt will be proud as 3rd place in the number 2 Audi. Jules Simkowiak and Fabian Schiller, they won the Silver Cup class in 4th place overall in the 85 Mercedes. So Audi came on strong as the weather conditions certainly improved. The track got warmer, the air temperature got warmer, and they got cars home in 2nd and 3rd positions, but they just didn't have any answers to the questions that were being asked by the GRT Grasser racing crew. So lots of applause and lots of cheering from Mirko Bortolotti and Christian Engelhardt on the top step of the podium at Brands Hatch. Champagne was sprayed, the sun shone on everybody here at Brands Hatch, but most particularly on the Grasser racing team.